Welcome to the channel, everybody. So, I got one interview left from Summonerfest, and this one I'm actually kind of excited about, to be honest with you. Not that I wasn't excited about the panels or the other interview, or that I am not looking forward to doing the wrap-up tomorrow for everything so we can start getting back to actual content. But this one is a little bit of a longer one, and it was a little bit more of a unique experience to have this conversation, to be truthful with you. This woman is very recognizable in our community at this point and has become famous for being so good at this game that she got herself banned. And that is overwhelmingly impressive, while yet she still stays very humble about things and still quite well advocates for the lower level players in this game. And I love seeing that out of her. She is an amazing woman. We had amazing conversations both on camera and off throughout the entire weekend. And I look forward to having a moment to speak to her further in the future and hopefully get to know her a little bit better, because it was an amazing time getting to know her over this weekend. But that's enough out of me. I think we should just go ahead and turn it over to the interview, because this one is a little bit longer, guys. So, I'll see you guys on the other side. And with that being said, welcome to the channel, Volatility. Welcome, everybody. So, I have another great opportunity here. I got to talk to another amazing member of this community, someone that I'm sure many of you already know, because she has came up so big in the last bit. As a matter of fact, why don't you tell me, how long has it been since you started your channel?
Well, it's only been slightly over a year, not too long. I mean, I've been playing since 2019, but the channel came recently.
Okay. I was playing for 7 years before I made my channel.
Okay.
So I totally understand that. Now, I know part of what brought your channel up has been controversy.
Something like that.
Obviously, the amazing thing is it's an interesting controversy, because you were so good at the game that it got you banned.
It did. That happened, yes.
Now, I know a lot of people could turn very sour off of something like that. And I obviously you were openly upset, which justifiably so.
At the moment, at least.
Yes. But I from what I have seen when I've had moments to stop in and hang out and everything, I don't see you holding any residual to that. I do see that you do have complaints, but they are not based off of that one interaction.
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate a little bit more?
Well, the banning and how they handled all of it, it didn't differ from my expectations of the company. I kind of have my groundwork of expectations for them, and so nothing really falls outside of that, at least not yet. So the fact that they banned me, I mean, it was surprising in the moment, but when it ended up happening, I filing the appeal, and then they denied the appeal. It was difficult in the moment, but it's very Kabam of them, and thankfully I had the connections to get unbanned rather quickly, but it was sort of a drop in the bucket, and then it ended up being beneficial for me because Rich the Man had covered this situation, and then a lot of people ended up finding me through that. So all in all, it's just sort of the name of the game with MCOC. I don't have much faith within the company, admittedly, so something like that happening where I did get falsely banned wasn't out of the realm of possibility for me, so it wasn't like this huge crushing blow or anything like that.
So now my question on the opposite side of that. Obviously, we've seen some amazing things out of this weekend. Some of them may not necessarily be what everybody wants to see. Some of them may be a lot more than what a lot of people are expecting to come. So, in spite of the fact that, you know, we all have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Kabam at times, and that things can get a little rocky. Tell me how you feel about this weekend so far.
Well, this weekend, it's been a trip to Vancouver, and I've been trying to absorb as much of that as possible. By the way, to the camera, I'm not sober whatsoever, so please take any type of errors with that grain of salt. But I've been trying to absorb that as much as possible. The Summonerfest so far has been really nice. Everyone has been lovely to me, and I appreciate that very much. Yeah, nothing has super duper defied my expectations. I've just been having a good time and trying to live it to the fullest while I am here. And while I may have complaints about the company and things of that nature, that doesn't mean that I have to bring that here. It doesn't mean that I have to cause issues. I'm not here to cause a ruckus. I'm just here to exist, and I would rather have a good time with people than cause conflict where it isn't necessarily needed. Because this convention will exist either way, regardless of whatever conflict is associated with it. So I would rather not add to that unnecessarily.
I respect that a lot. To be honest with you, I've always been one of those people in the community that, especially when all the pitchforks come out, I try. I never defend anything absurd that Kabam does, but at the same time, I also do realize that quite often it is very easy for our community to get worked up about some things that are like. One of the greatest examples is when 5 stars came out, and then when 6 stars came out. Like the amount of upset about that. And then, it didn't take very long for everybody to be like, okay, cool, I got new champions.
I'll admit, I'm biased at the concept of 8 stars existing, but I know that that's my own fault.
I do understand that. I know everybody in the community files a little on different directions on that. And the only thing that really honestly, even with the news that we got today that they're saying no 8 stars, which the amount of things that they've said, and then
They said a lot.
Yeah, you'll never see a 6-star Wolverine. You'll never see a 6-star Scarlet Witch.
Which is interesting, given that champions like Okoye exist.
Oh yeah, but
Serpent and Onslaught and all that.
But I think far too often do they forget to look that we have, as much so as they look at this game existing, we don't have an end date on it either. And so I think they forget that if we were to be fully appeased, that there's never an end date, that means there is nothing that is a never.
That's true, yeah.
Obviously, I guarantee you, especially with some of the broken champions that we've seen in the last couple of years, a 7-star Hercules will eventually exist in this game, no matter how many times Kabam tells us that they won't.
I know that the joke amongst the community is that the second 7-star Hercules is announced. That means that the game is going to end up ending at some point. That we should all pack our bags and get ready for the apocalypse.
Yes, but at the same time, like I said, there's enough examples that we have that we've proven repeatedly. Being somebody who back when Wolverine was still very viable, partially because he is my favorite character in comics, period.
Okay.
It took me a long time to get to a point where I let go of playing Wolverine. As a matter of fact, Corvus had been out for a good 8-9 months, and everybody was so hyped on him, and they're like, will you please play your Corvus?
I used to use him all the time because I ran suicides back in the day.
Sadly enough, part of the reason that I got so comfortable, that the Corvus worked out really well for me, is because of my first maxed out 5-star, and it was actually somebody that I took a lot of crap for. My first maxed out 5-star was Loki.
Loki.
Yes,
that's very interesting.
I love the fact that for me, like the unblockable special 2 and the buff steal off of the special 1 gave him so much value.
You like that about him?
Oh yeah, and then you turn around and you add in the fact that if you put the Heimdall synergy in with him, then you get a little bit of extra buff to that. And then when I did finally get around to playing Corvus and realized that I put Loki and Heimdall with Corvus, Corvus became that much more of a god. Because if I did happen to mess up, I could rely on the fact of the immortality to get me back to, most of the time I could get my charges up again.
Your Corvus charges?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I wouldn't have to worry about going down. Not to mention on top of that, it also worked out really well because if I did the double dash back, I could get a little bit of health back.
Oh, was that a part of the synergy? If you dash back multiple times, you get regen?
If you have Loki and Heimdall in, which this actually works with Thor Ragnarok and Heimdall and I believe regular Thor as well. If you double dash back and hold block, you get 30% of your lost health back.
Kind of like that Hela and Heimdall Fury synergy, where you dash back and hold the block and you get the permanent Fury?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a temporary regen?
It's a regen once per fight.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay, so that works really well with a character like Corvus, that 30 health, 30% of your health back at the beginning of a fight where you're going in with 5 to 10.
30%? That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a really good difference, and it's actually more valuable than a potion.
I had no idea about that synergy, so thank you.
Oh yeah, no, totally. So it is one of those things that, like I said, I have mixed feelings when I finally got 6-star Wolverine in the game.
Okay.
Because first off, it's like I said, one of my favorite characters period in comics. But by the time we actually got him as a 6-star, he had no value.
They put him out as a 6-star after the point where him being as a 6-star was relevant at all. They did that with champions like Scarlet Witch and things of that nature, where OG Vision as well, where they deemed those as overpowered 5-stars, even though I definitely don't agree with that. But then they were like, okay, after 6-stars are already done and dusted, now we put them out. And I mean, do you see people using those at all?
No. Oh yeah.
Not at all.
It's not a thing.
Not even once.
Yeah, if it's a thing, if anybody does, it's normally for
the novelty.
Yeah, it's a novelty thing. It's a challenge that somebody's doing. Something like that.
Like, it's not because, oh yes, these champions are better than the other ones. Not at all. They're good, obviously, and they were especially good back when the meta of MCOC was less extreme, because obviously power creep is a thing that exists. So back before then, champions like Wolverine and Scarlet Witch were on the top. So they were good back then, but not necessarily now. I mean, Scarlet Witch, okay, she nullifies on her crits, and when she crits, she can place certain buffs or debuffs. I mean, that's not especially valuable nowadays.
Oh yeah, especially considering the fact of the champions that you can nullify with that actually do amazing amounts of damage.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just looking at, and shout out to my ex, and I will always shout her out every time I say these words, because she is the only reason that I actually became amazing with this champion. You look at Tigra versus Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Tigra's very, very good.
Yeah. The things that I can shut down, I can nullify you just fine.
You nullify before the buff even comes up.
Yeah. So, that's more valuable. And on top of that, too, if you're good with her, she is, and it is. Our community falls in 2 categories when it comes to her as a champion. You're either absolutely wonderful with her, or you don't touch her at all.
See, I'm pretty bad at her, but I still took her to rank 4 because that motivated me to get better with her. In her easy matchups, I can make her work for sure. I mean, you just hold block, punish the heavy, and then do that until you get to a special 2 while you have both senses up, and then they're dead. But in terms of like the more fintech level of skill set with Tigra, knowing all the spacings and everything like that, I'm very, very far from that. But she still excels at her best matchups, to where you don't even need to be that good with her to make her work, but she's still far more complex than the average champion, in my opinion.
Yes. Now that actually brings me into another point, is the ever-growing complexity of this game.
That is true.
Okay. It is one of those things that, like, especially like I said, I took a few months away from the game to work on a few things outside for my personal life. Yeah. Not that they all developed the way I wanted them to, but at the same time, by the time I came back, I felt like I needed 6 spreadsheets just to get through a single bit of content.
Yep. I'll ask in advance, did you watch that video that I made about champion design?
I don't remember if I did. I apologize.
Okay. No worries whatsoever. I was just, I'm curious because I did end up mentioning the overcomplexity within champions kits, both attackers and defenders. So that facet of it, I'm very familiar with, and I did end up mentioning that within talking about how they do modern champions.
Okay.
I don't care that you didn't see it at all. I was
No.
in terms of, so I know what to mention and what to not.
Yeah. You know, like one of the things about it is I only have 2 rank 4s at this point because I took the time away.
Who are they?
My 2 are actually Bishop and Hulk.
Bishop was, I think, my first rank 3.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait, no. Bishop and Hulk were my first 2 rank 3s. I'm serious. From Necro. They were. That was what got me Valiant. I'm serious. I'm fully serious.
No. That's awesome. and part of the reason
Bishop and Hulk in that order.
Part of the reason that they are my first 2 is because they are extremely powerful champions, but they are also extremely simple champions.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if you can Hulk juggle, it's one.
Hulk juggle?
Hulk juggle.
Hulk juggle?
Yeah.
What's that place at?
The Hulk juggle. You pin them in the corner and you keep them stunned the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
It's that rotation
once
between
you get the gamma rage and activate your special one.
Once you get that first special one, you get that first stun on, and especially, and I've taught plenty of people this, even if you don't get to the gamma rage before you do it, if you get up to a bar and a half of power before you throw that first special one,
you just throw a heavy and then activate your gamma rage and then use your special one.
Yeah, and so once you throw that first special one, you're gonna hit your next special one before they come out of that stuff.
See, my way of using Hulk way back when, at least. I haven't used him in a bit, which is a shame, but I get him to like 2.5 bars, and then I throw a heavy, which activates the gamma rage on my behalf. Use a special 2 to place the trauma, so you get the burst damage, and then I start hitting them, like usually relic, and then special 1 spam, and they tend to die by that point, but probably not nowadays, since mine is a mere rank 3 rather than a rank 4 Sig 200.
Now, and then Bishop, first off, one of the things about it is...
I love Bishop.
You know, I love just getting to my special 2 and cooking them.
I love Bishop.
Especially, you know, Captain Marvel movie was another one, a champion that I really loved because if you... and I've gotten flack for this because people will tell me that I don't play her properly.
Yes, you do.
But at the same time, like, my very first video on my channel was how I play Captain Marvel movie, which is repeated parries.
Yeah, to build her charges.
And throwing SP1s to build the charges even faster.
Does she get 3 per special 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So I put out my first video talking about, I parry all the way up to an SP1, throw an SP1, parry more. Before long, I hit the 25 charges. I'm indestructible. I cook them. Okay. And of course, I took flack from a lot of people in the community. That's not how you play her. Whatever.
What was their suggestion?
I didn't care.
Okay. You saw it and decided to no.
That's how it works. Like that's how I played her, and it clearly won me matches. So like, what am I doing so wrong?
I find that they made Photon as like a recreation of CMF.
Yes.
They did a similar thing. I personally prefer Photon, admittedly, but yeah, for sure.
But Bishop has a very similar.
BG Pete, have a nice rest of your night.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you both tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Yep.
You guys be there tomorrow?
So that's part of what drew me to Bishop is when I realized that I could do a similar style with him, where as long as I got up to that SB2 and parried enough to get the his charges up.
Yep.
By the time I get to 25, 30 charges, he's unblockable and he normally cooks anybody.
Bishop is extremely easy. You just parry until special 2, and then they tend to die. And
Yeah.
if they don't die, you do it again.
Yes. But then the other thing that really gets me that we have went away from so much so is the fact that you can, with the right synergy, instantly be at your SP2 with Bishop every single time.
You bring Storm, and he gains a bar of power
Bring
every time he
Storm,
enters the fight.
Doctor Strange, Cyclops.
Does Storm X work for that too, or no?
I don't remember if Storm X does.
Okay. I know at least OG Storm definitely does.
But and of course, if you stack multiples, you go directly to an SP3.
Yes.
But that's not where you want to be.
No, or at least you need to parry probably 4 or 5 times before that becomes.
And the nice thing about having them in there in the synergy is the idea that you get those prowess charges start with as well.
Oh yeah, he does do that, doesn't he?
Yeah, you stack. If you've got a couple of them on your team, you can start with 6 to 8 charges.
See,
and a bar of power.
He parries and he gets like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't even need them. You just
Yeah.
parry and it's done.
But I think that's one of the things that I have a mixed feeling on, because I don't know that synergies. How many people actually run a synergy game?
Well, nowadays they tend to make content that isn't directed towards synergies. Even in terms of the EQ, you bring one champion and that's it.
Yeah.
At least for the Elder difficulty. So they're kind of phasing out synergies, which personally I find very unfortunate.
Yes.
But when you do get to bring synergy teams, I mean, remember way back when, many years ago, it was always mutant teams because they always had the best synergies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like Bishop with Apocalypse and everything like that would be a great prototype.
Oh yeah.
Out
Yeah.
there. But nowadays things have changed and they don't really like promoting synergies as much as they used to.
Yeah, and despite the fact that we still, like, every champion that comes out still has all these synergies, but at the same time,
They're
like,
not really good anymore.
yeah, why are we worrying about them if you're not going to have a use for them?
I mean, when is the last useful synergy that they released that you can recall? It has to be years ago, right?
Well, let's see. Some of the ones that come to my mind right off the bat is obviously Captain Marvel movie with Nick.
That was so long ago, though.
Yeah, that is quite a while ago. I'm trying to think something else that, like, really was a good standout
See,
one.
for me, my most memorable synergy is Stealth Suit Spider-Man with Scorpion. But
Okay,
that was
yeah.
also many years ago.
Yeah, and
They don't really make synergies anymore.
yeah, and I will tell you, like, I've that one, especially when I was playing Wars for my Alliance.
Oh, that's a perfect synergy.
Yeah, that one came up quite a bit because, you know, that way we could take care of Rupture and stuff like that.
I would use it for years, mainly with Stealth Spidey, though, because the permanent power lock.
Mm-hmm.
That was extremely effective for many fights, including champions like Photon, Bullseye, Enchantress, and probably, I think I've seen people use him for Dark Phoenix nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
With that Scorpion synergy, he's a complete powerhouse, and he's coming out as a 7-star now. Some people already have him, but
Yeah.
I'm too cheap for that, so I'll get him in December. But that's the thing, like, that's an extremely powerful synergy. They don't tend to make those anymore, at
Yeah.
least from what I've noticed.
Yeah, it is one of those things that it does feel like that's another thing that they've left there without addressing.
That is true, I agree.
And I will say that I don't know. I know you were in the Q&A panel, which
I sat there for a bit.
I think we all have a little bit mixed feelings because it wasn't exactly what we were expecting it to be.
I heard that they filtered through the questions, which
Okay,
is very
so-
Kabam of them.
Okay, so I actually I got a moment to talk to Kabam Dragon after
Okay.
everything.
Yep,
And I
that's
actually went up and asked her specifically. I said, you know, please do not take offense to this, but I want to tell you, honestly, the questions that were asked seemed very softball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was a free pitch,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it wasn't the type of questions that I hear on my channel. It's not the type of questions that I hear from my Alliance members. You know, it's not even the type of questions I see in other chats.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't entertain anything actually that's filled with
I
scrutiny.
have one question. When's your part 2 coming of the champ, all that stuff? Part 2?
For me,
Yeah,
specifically?
I need that. That part 1 was so fucking good. You got so many views. Like, it popped off.
I don't know
Flags
exactly
commented,
when.
and I was like, holy shit, this video fucking took off.
What
Like,
account were you?
I'm Faust Out Loud. I'm a YouTuber too.
Foul tell
Out
what?
Loud. Yeah, Faust Out Loud. My face is my
Oh,
profile pic.
FA. You're in the
FAUST.
KP1 chat, aren't you?
Yeah, Sen watched my fucking Usaba video, so I was like,
See,
fuck, what?
I
I only got
was
300 views, so
I was
you watched
aware
it.
of you
You're wrong.
before that because I know that you were in the chat.
Yeah, he's the
Yes, I was.
FAUST?
Yes, that's it.
I
Yeah.
was aware of you.
That's my
So, okay,
tattoo
cool.
right here.
That
Faust.
is this
FAUST.
Faust?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
German.
Okay. Well,
Dante's
yeah, no,
Inferno.
I've been around for a bit, but I'm glad you enjoyed the video.
I did enjoy the
The
video.
next part will come
You're
out
great. I'm
at
waiting
some
for
point.
it. You do so much gameplay. I'm like,
You're great.
I'll wait.
You
At
really
some
are.
point, at some point.
Your roster's not even complete, and you're fucking doing this content. I'm like, wow, you're
Well,
really
like,
fucking
I
good.
don't need it to be
She's
complete.
amazing.
Your fucking content. I mean, you're really good at the game. I'm like, damn.
I
I'm
appreciate
not
that.
so,
Thank you. I
yeah.
hope that you guys have a nice
No
rest of your
problem.
night.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Good night.
But yeah, so anyways,
No.
questions?
Yep. So,
Edit that out.
like I said, I talked. I talked. Like I said, I talked to Kabam Dragon, and she
Yes.
said that honestly, there was only one question that was put in the box. That
She said there was one that was excluded, and she said that she might tell me later.
yeah,
What was it?
She said it was an inappropriate question. It was and inappropriate as far as like words.
Did she say what it was?
No, she didn't go into it.
Damn, I'll have to figure out later.
But at the same time, it was one of those things that I did mention to her that, like, I didn't even know that that question box was there. I didn't know that that's what that was about. I walked into that panel thinking that, like, oh, they're going to, like, call on people. And I kind of understand well why they didn't, because there is so much in the community where it could have went real aggressive real quick.
Like, that's the thing. See, I wouldn't bring them an aggressive question,
But-
but I have such little faith in them that I wouldn't necessarily bring them anything super duper easy. And keep in mind, I'm Canadian. I may not be from Vancouver, but I am Canadian, and I'm very lax. So the fact that I have such a strong opinion against Kabam, I hope that that speaks for itself.
I think it does.
I hope so.
But it is one of those things that she did mention to me
Yes.
directly,
Yes.
and I brought up some of the questions that I would prefer to see answered, such as like one of the ones that one of my alliance members asked is, are we ever going to see any more back issues?
Okay.
Like, or is that just something that like we gave up on?
They haven't done that for years, haven't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, another question that I asked that she didn't answer, but I actually did talk to a member of the development team that had a little bit more openness about things, is one of the things that Honeydew talked to me about when we were in Seattle was the idea that she gave this great reference of why a lot of the problems in the game occurred.
Okay.
Which is that this game they never envisioned it to become what it has become.
Yes, I know.
And
I know that she had mentioned because she's a regular within my live stream. She's very sweet.
Oh yeah,
Love
she
Kabam
is
Honeydew.
amazing.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And she mentioned that, like within how the game was made, it was not made with the fact that it would get extremely popular in mind in terms of how the original coding was produced and everything like that. It like wasn't super solid. So there's a lot of issues within that they still need to work through, which kind of explains some of the issues that they experience nowadays.
And her reference when she was in Seattle to me was that, okay, this game was built with a foundation of an understanding that it was going to be a 5-story building.
Okay.
And it is now a 25-story building on a 5-story building foundation.
Exactly, yeah.
And so one of the things that I was planning on asking, and I got a little bit more information on that I'm going to cover as well, was, why was it never thought of, especially, say, about 2022, when they did all the layoffs?
Oh, they did layoffs?
Oh, they did a ton of layoffs. And a lot of that, like, that was corporate America in itself, okay? A lot of these tech companies saw, especially gaming companies, saw massive profits in 2020 and 2021 because so many of us were stuck at home.
Yes.
And so people just spent money on games.
Yeah.
And so, when we got to 2022, they were still expecting the same profits.
I see.
And so when they didn't get the same profits, they started making cutbacks.
Oh, yeah.
And so my thought process was, why didn't we take this as an opportunity instead of cutting the team to take a moment to split the team in half and have one keep the full server running and one build a new server that had a foundation that could handle the complexity of what the game has become.
I mean, within what we were talking about a bit before, back at the HQ, if that's the correct place, I think it's a matter of where they prioritize their allocation, and I think that they do have time to tend to some of the things, but they prioritize different things that perhaps are less important. At least that's my opinion.
Now I felt it was that. I felt it was also to do with, plain and simple, Netmarble was like, hey, like, we got to have a profit on this game, and spending a bunch of money to create a second server, even if it does improve the game down the road, we don't know that we'll ever get our money back from it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was my thought process. But after actually talking to one of the dev team that was a little bit more open with me,
They decided that was not the case.
More so what I got implied to me is that we all understand the concept of this game being on a server.
Okay.
It is more complex than that. It is actually on multiple different systems, that one of those systems actually had a bug in it.
Of course.
And that bug actually made the game better.
What was that bug?
It was actually a timing bug.
Please explain.
Okay, so it was designed in a way, or at least the way I was explained it, is that, so if we did a reaction, okay, and there was some, like, okay, perfect example, Dust, who has a lot of complexity to her movements and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there sandstorm?
Yeah. So, if she does her move, the game reacts and realizes to pause the timer to allow us to react.
I mean, personally, I find that her AI is extremely quick. I mean, she'll throw a heavy, you try to punish it, and then she parries you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the thing about it is, and this was from my understanding before Dust came out.
Yes.
They fixed that bug through the other company that actually had the bug.
Okay.
And that actually caused problems for Kabam.
Okay.
And that caused problems for the game itself. And so when we are used to doing a parry based off of the cues that we have spent years understanding, that bug doesn't exist anymore, and so the cue is wrong. It's at the wrong time.
Okay.
And so that delay to allow us to react is now gone, and they don't know how to replicate fixing that because it was a bug that was never intended in the first place.
I mean, from what I'm aware of, as we stated previously, a lot of the game was built off of aspirational code, let's say. Aspirational. Perhaps not quite complete, but aspirational. And so a lot of the issues that take place within the game nowadays, I think, fall victim to that aspirational code. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask one more thing to really tie this up.
Sure.
And this one is more the difference between you and I.
Okay. Yeah.
We fall on very different ends of the spectrum. Okay. You are a player that is so good that literally the company's like, oh my God, this is cheating.
They did ban me for that, yeah.
On the other hand, I spent 6 hours and 6,000 units to beat the Grandmaster the first time I faced him.
Oh no. Did you at least have a good time?
Actually, no, I was miserable.
I'm so sorry.
I had planned that I was going to have this done before the live stream that I was supposed to do that night, and I pushed it right up to the time that I had planned to go live. Yeah. And by the time I went live, like I don't know how much the community will remember this, but I was completely and totally like.
Is the stream still on YouTube?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. See, I will admit that the first few times that I tried the Grandmaster, at least upon completion, it was tricky. At least the last phase stole a lot of my revives, where he would just go unstoppable, and then I'd have to go in the corner and then hope I didn't die. I eventually got better at dexing within the corner, but prior to then, I mean, I was still doing pretty well, but still prior to then, yeah, no, that ate up more of my revives than all of his other phases combined.
Now, my niche in the community is very much so that I don't know how many times, and it comes up all the time, even when I took my break, there were still people messaging me going, I have watched so many people that are so amazing in this game that can do everything with no revives, and I feel like I can't even play this game when I watch them. But then I turn around and I watch your channel and I watch you suck horribly and I'm like, I can do that. I can. If he can beat it, I can.
Yeah, you mentioned that you sort of function as a martyr of the community.
Happily so.
Yes.
So my question is, for those that see you and see such amazing gameplay and get intimidated by it, and worry that maybe they're not good enough to play this game, what would you say to somebody?
Well,
In spite the fact that I know there's most of the people will never tell you that.
which I understand, obviously, but I hope that within how I communicate about the game and how it works and how the content works, I like to think that I advocate more. Have a nice night, honey.
See you guys.
Later.
I like to think that I try to advocate more for the casual or average player than most of the other higher end players go for, because I see a lot of that, and whenever I end up in those groups, they're just focusing on themselves, which, given that I'm intoxicated, I will say outright that I find that a bit selfish, because 90% of the player base is not competitive. Not even close to that, and they're not good enough for that. It's a swipe and tap mobile game. Most people swipe and tap, and that's the end of it. So given that I reserve myself to more of that community rather than the highest of competitiveness, I'm aware of that a lot more, and I feel a larger urge to advocate for that player base. So within that, like, I hope that in how I talk about it and how I give advice and everything like that, because that is a big part of what I do. They know that I'm not inherently judging them for not being able to do the content as well as I do. I tend to advertise, please do not, like, if new people come around, please do not expect to do the content as smoothly as I do. I happen to be better at it because I've put in the time, I've put in the hours, I've put in the effort, and it's a little bit pathetic, to be honest. But because of that, I end up being better at the game than most people. But the average player shouldn't feel inferior to that. They should just know that, oh, okay, this is a good demonstration of how this game works. And I try to make myself open in terms of offering advice and structuring their runs and telling them who the best counters for which fights are. And I do that a fair bit, and they tend to tell me that, oh, that went smoother than I expected. And that is the only goal that I have. So in terms of more average or casual players that tend to see my channel, I hope that I give off the energy that I am not inherently judging them for not being able to do something as, say, with few items as I typically do, or anything like that, and that they can come to me for input on how to approach it, because I'm aware of the nodes and I'm aware how the fights work. I play this game too much to be bad at it. That would be really pathetic if I was. So I happen to be decent at it, and I can give the insight that perhaps they may be missing, and I hope that I'm able to give them an easier time at the content as a result. So basically, to answer your question, I don't bite. I don't bite. I'm around either way.
And that's part of the reason why I asked you, is because in all the times that I have had the privilege to check out one of your videos, or the few times that I have had time to get into one of your live streams and chat with you and everything, you've always came off, in spite of the fact of how amazing your skill is, you've came across very humble and very much so an advocate for people that aren't at your level.
I mean, there's enough of the most competitive players. There's enough of the MSDs. There's enough of the fintechs. No one needs to advocate for those type of players. Kabam already, in my opinion at least, makes content for those type of players, not
Very
for
much
the
so.
average players.
Very much so.
So I try to put the focus on where there is not enough of a focus, and that is the more casual or average player demographic that doesn't try to read and examine every single node, or how their attacker works, or how the defender works, because that's the vast majority of the player base, and that is largely getting passed along in terms of, at least in my opinion, how Kabam views the player base, how the top players view the player base. They just talk, again, I'm not sober, so I'm being more honest here. They're just talking about themselves and their people. And sure, I may be decent at the game, but that doesn't mean that I have to just lay into that, because I know that it is a much more broad spectrum than someone who is able to understand how the game works like I do. And I refuse to just play into that when I know that there is 90% of the player base who is struggling, because I don't like seeing that. It's not fair, in my opinion, and I will always advocate for that until the end of time, or at least until I feel like they've done enough to compensate for that. But in my opinion, They haven't yet. So I will continue saying, hey, this stuff is too hard for the average player.
Yeah.
So I try to be accessible. I know that I happen to be better at the game than the average person, but I still try to be accessible nonetheless because I don't want to make people feel bad for not being as skilled at the game as I am, because it takes a lot of time to do that.
Yes.
And I don't expect that from most people. You know, they are trying to better their lives and trying to develop their careers. I mean, it's time for MCOC. It's a game.
Yes.
So you don't have to read everything. I get it. So I'm here to help for that. I happen to be good enough at the game to help people with that. And that is my only goal, to help people and to have a fun time doing it. That's it. No more, no less.
And you are very appreciated for that.
I appreciate that.
I really do mean it when I say it, that you are one of the few that are a top tier player that really does come off a little more humble. And it's not the fake, you know, oh, I'm not really good at this game that I see from so many of the top tier players that I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I couldn't do what you do on my best day if you were drunk and fucking half blindfolded. You know, I pride myself in that I did become a good Tigra player, as I mentioned, but I am nowhere near good enough to even like brag about it, in all honesty.
I mean, hey, if you become a Tiger player, you've become a Tiger player.
Yep. So, but I want to very much so thank you for taking a few moments with me. I want to thank you for being part of this community.
Of course.
And I want to thank you for always advocating for the little guy.
I don't see enough of it, and I figure, well, if I'm here, then I might as well, for lack of a better term, fight for what I believe in. And I know how high of a percentage the casual or average player occupies within the player base. And then meanwhile, you go on YouTube and you see all these top players in Master War and in Celestial and Battlegrounds. And it's like, that's not most people. So I see most people and I talk to most people. I help most people. So the fact that most people don't talk about that, I don't like that. I may be, again, not sober, so I'm being honest here. I may be better than that, but that doesn't mean that I have to just focus on myself. Because I'm already good. I can figure out what I need to figure out. By the way, Mike, have a nice rest of your night. And
Sorry?
you too.
Have
Both
a
of
great
you.
rest of your night.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, man.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers, man.
Go Broncos.
Fuck you, dude. They are doing
Yes,
very well
indeed.
this season. Very well this season.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No.
I just want to say bye to everyone who's leaving.
No, I totally get it.
But yeah, my point within that is that there's enough good players in the game. I don't feel the need to make myself known amongst that bunch. If anything, if they think I'm good enough, they'll know that. I don't need to say it. It doesn't matter. In my opinion, I'm not the best, I'm not the worst. I can help people. I can help the average player with advice and everything like that. And that's the niche that I am more than comfortable in occupying. I don't have to be like FinTech or MSD, but I can be good enough to offer advice on how to clear the content, and I can be accessible enough, because I'm not especially popular, to, give that advice. Because it's not like I have hundreds of people coming to me for that type of thing. It's only a few, so if it's only a few, I'll help you out. Despite the fact that I may be a better player than most, I don't want that to separate me from the majority of the community. And they already get ignored enough, and I'm not going to contribute to that, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And again, thank you so much for your
Of
time.
course. You want to shake my hand?
Of course.
There we go.
Well known in the community, especially after being promoted by Rich after the controversy of getting her account banned, as well as just the things that she's done. It's absolutely amazing, guys. So I'm happy that I could have a moment to speak with her and bring you guys a little bit different of a view of an amazing person. And she truly is an amazing person, and I thank her so much. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, and I will see you guys back in the next one, probably in a live stream pretty soon, to be truthful with you. And like I said, we're going to do the final recap tomorrow on my entire thoughts on everything of Summonerfest, everything that I've seen and heard since all of it. We're going to go over it little by little and close up that so we can start moving towards the future of the game. But with that being said, guys, I hope everybody has a lovely day, a lovely night, and pulls a God tier champion soon. And until the next one, guys, I truly do appreciate every one of you. Love you all. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.